Before I get started, I do consulting on where you can move. I'll work with you to find the perfect place for you to move to. There's more information at the end of the video about that. Now let's get started. Dun, 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 dun. This is not going to be a welcome relief to the sprawl and growth stories in Florida. Generally, it'll be a somewhat pleasant look at what it's like to live in the St. Pete Clearwater area, but that doesn't mean this area is perfect. It's a really nice part of the state, but sprawl, a cost of living spike, homelessness, and crowding is changing this place every single day. St. Pete Clearwater is part of the Tampa metro area. It's all on a long peninsula just west of Tampa. There's about 500,000 people here. I'd heard it has very nice beaches and is otherwise becoming a pretty nice place to live. So on day 9 of my trip to Florida, I went there to spend a couple days. I'm going to show you what parts of St. Petersburg look like, and then we're going to go to Clearwater. We're also going to meet somebody who lives in the area and talk to him about what things are like here these days. Let's go! Downtown St. Petersburg. Now to me, downtown St. Pete was much more interesting than downtown Clearwater. This place feels like a real downtown. It's clean and it's really safe. Just like in Tampa right across the bridge, here in St. Pete, I didn't see that many panhandlers or bums out in the open. Oh, they're here. They're just out of sight. We'll talk about that in a minute. St. Pete has grown over the last 20 years, but not nearly as fast as the counties around it. There just isn't a lot of room to grow here unless they go up. Most of the people coming in here these days are the rich folks, which means the poor folks have to leave. Economically, the St. Pete area is thriving. Like every other place I've visited on this trip, there was construction going on all over the place. The city is moving downtown outwards. People who were once close to downtown can't afford to live close to downtown anymore. And it's like $1,500 to live in the hood here. Speaking of which, the south side of St. Pete tends to be the higher crime area. But as this region's getting all spruced up, a lot of the bad areas are shrinking. A lot of the poor people in St. Pete who don't want to leave the area wind up living in their cars all over town. Can you imagine living in your car in the summer in Florida? God bless those people. They won't let them camp downtown or on the beach because that's where the tourists are, right? Can't have that. What's ironic about that is a lot of the people who can't afford rent here anymore cater to the tourists. Half the people who live here just about live paycheck to paycheck. Florida law says your landlord can kick you out in 2 weeks if they want. A landlord here can also stain a renter's reputation, meaning it's even harder to find somewhere to rent. A lot of the older buildings downtown are just going away. They're being replaced by luxury apartments with pools and marble counters. And rent on these new condos and apartments is 5 times higher than normal rent. I heard stories about people getting thrown out of their old buildings and then sleeping in their cars in the building's parking lot. Sometimes when an old building's torn down, the former tenants actually stand out and protest about gentrification and evictions. But I think we can agree this looks so new and much nicer. It just does. Home prices in St. Pete these days range from the 200,000s to the millions. It's going up all the time. Just like any city, there's good and bad parts of town. The bad parts aren't that bad here. In St. Pete and in Tampa, all the bad areas are getting too expensive for the bad people to afford. Close to the water, near Tampa Bay, is Tropicana Field, home to the Tampa Bay Rays, which have terrible attendance these days. What is going on there? St. Pete has some really interesting architecture. Much of the city was built in the 50s and 60s, and it has sort of a throwback flair to it. They've done a really good job of fixing up their old motels, but keeping them honest. You can see a lot of that at the beaches here, which are on a barrier island across a bridge. This is the reason so many tourists come here. There's a handful of really nice beaches in St. Pete. There's St. Pete Beach, Reddington, Treasure Island. I spent most of my time in St. Pete Beach, which is awesome, people. A few days before, I had spent a couple days in Panama City, and that place is a fucking zoo. But here, it's just chill. They keep it nice here, and it's fairly expensive. That keeps the troublemakers out. Most of the trashy people who come here spend the day at the beach, but they don't stick around after dark. St. Pete Beach is on the Gulf side of the state, and if you remember from earlier videos in my series, I've been comparing the different types of beach sand as I go along. Pinellas County sand is different from the Panhandle sand. Here, it's much more loose and sandy and much harder, almost like broken up concrete. But it's still really white. I guess I'm just becoming a Florida beach sand expert of sorts. It's pretty chill on this beach, I have to say. You have time to forget about being a huge YouTube star and just actually relax. What do seagulls eat, anyways? Like, besides chips? I needed to study them closer. I began to feed them to draw them in. It's clear that the males are dominating towards the females, seen here with the lighter plumes. You might be surprised to hear that this bird species is omnivorous. They prey on small mammals, birds, reptiles, and amphibians. They also eat dead things that wash up on the shore. They eat dung, grain, and berries. And vomit. I'm not sure what was upchucked here, but the birds liked it. Gross. But if I were to bet on it, I'd say seagulls like Cheez-Its the most. Here, an unsuspecting beachgoer is presented with a challenge. She took a break to pee in the water, and she left her Cheez-It box unattended. And these gulls are smart, and they are aggressive. Get the Cheez-Its back! Oh my god, get the Cheez-Its back! Oh my god! What's happening? Oh, she's got the Cheez-Its. She's got the Cheez-Its. Oh, they're gonna get her. They're gonna get her. While in St. Pete Beach, I ate at Rick's Reef, which has a beautiful view of the neighborhood. Rick's Reef, I highly recommend it. Then I had a drink at nearby Rascals, where I wandered upon a small but fired up Tampa Bay Lightning crowd. They give out free shots when the Lightning score. I'm not sure what I drank, but it was an emerald green sugary substance. I also listened to music at Jimmy B's. Great place, good people. Jimmy B's, everyone. Of course, you have to watch the sunset while on the Gulf. A lot of the people down here to watch the sunset are locals, because as you know, no two sunsets are alike. It's a tragedy for me to know that the day is over, and I never will forget the day we met. St. Pete, I'm gonna miss you. After all that, we have to briefly cover Clearwater. Wah, wah, wah. This place is boring and so basic. It's about a half-hour drive north of St. Pete. I drove around whatever form of the downtown Clearwater has, and I checked out some of the random neighborhoods. I was not impressed. Downtown Clearwater is kind of sleepy. It's not the most charming place I saw in Florida on this trip, but it wasn't horrible. There's some nice Spanish architecture in different pockets, and a decent amount of stuff to do to keep you entertained. I guess this would be a nice place for a stroll on a good weather day. I was here in early May, and it was 82 degrees and not humid. I'd call that a great day in Florida. Downtown Clearwater is home to the international headquarters of the Church of Scientology. It's a big Spanish-looking building in the heart of downtown. You should watch the HBO documentary called Going Clear. It'll blow your freaking mind, people. Clearwater is about half as large as St. Petersburg to the south. Homes here are just a teeny bit cheaper, and they're right on par with the national average. A lot of the neighborhoods I traversed look to be below average in terms of desirability, but clearly, Clearwater is getting more and more expensive to live in. It's mostly residential and retirement oriented, but Clearwater is mainly known for its world-famous Clearwater Beach. Now, I didn't want to sit on a bridge for an hour to cross over to Clearwater Beach and back, but I can tell you it's widely considered as one of the nicest beach communities in the state of Florida. Here's what it looks like from across the water from downtown Clearwater. All right, here's what it looks like from above. Down in St. Pete, the beaches are short and wide. In Clearwater, the beaches are long and narrow. The water here is clear. That's why they call it that. There's other communities nearby. Largo, Dunedin, Tarpon Springs. They're all some variation of Clearwater. Just nice, sort of boring places with a great beach 10 minutes away. This whole part of the state's changing, folks. However, I'd get a break from stories of change and sprawl the following day when I visited what's been called the best beach in the country. And it was nothing like I thought it would be. Okay, Sloan, so you told me in an email that not a day goes by that there isn't something that makes you wonder if it's drugs or Florida. What did you mean by that?
You can't go a day without seeing something crazy. You can't explain. I mean, literally, you can leave the house, just go into work, and you'll see some guy basically moonwalking in the middle of the road. I mean, it's all kinds of. You go to theme parks, you can go anywhere, beaches. You're bound to see some crazy stuff happening. So the excitement's there for St. Pete in Florida. If you want to come down and see some crazy shit every day, then this is the place to be for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm working on a video on St. Pete. I was there a few weeks ago. I really like the area. I think St. Pete's a pretty cool place. I know that it's changed a little bit. Tell people what it's like living in St. Pete.
St. Pete's beautiful. There's a lot of culture, a lot of arts. If you love the arts, this is a place to be. You can be as creative as you want. You could sell your art here for sure. There's a market for it. There's anything you can think of to do, St. Pete has it here. Like we have the Tampa Rays if you want to go watch a sports team, festivals, music, great beer, but it is overcrowded with tourists coming down all year. There's no slowdown period anymore. So that's the only issue is everything that was fun to do is now longer waits. There's more traffic. You have to be patient now. You have to really be patient when you used to not really be able to have to wait for anything. You just go and do it. So it's beautiful. St. Pete's beautiful. It's a big city, but it's starting to really feel like it's closing in with all the people that's coming in now and living here and visiting.
Mm-hmm. There's only so much room to grow. I mean, you're on a peninsula, right? So
Mm-hmm.
how are they just cramming everybody in? How are they even going to get more people?
They're building high-rise apartments all over the place. Any kind of like little property that they can claim, they're building up. So that's what we're seeing across, especially downtown and smaller community areas. They're building high-rises right down the road from neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm. So it's more crowded, it's more fun. What are some other ways that St. Pete's kind of changing? I know it's getting really unaffordable for people. I hear people are getting priced out.
So what's happening now is that you have these homes that are going for astronomical prices, but they're being bought by investors. They're not even being bought by people that are moving or are looking to buy a house. So you have all these homes being bought up by investors. They go in, maybe do a little something to them, flip them, put them right back on the market. And people like myself who would love to, potentially find another home, it's making it really hard for us to try to find something that's affordable and not feeling like you're really overpaying for a 3-bedroom, like 1 bath. Like it should not be as the price it is, but you have these people coming in and just throwing cash offers down right away. So it does make it hard for locals and families who are looking to move in and enjoy St. Pete.
Yeah, I heard that like over in Tampa, it's like 20% or maybe even 25% of homes that are being purchased are being bought by investors or corporations, not people.
Yeah, and they're empty. They go back on the market. Actually, I have my real estate license, and I've been sitting on. I haven't done anything with it, but this is like the time. Like if you want to make money, St. Pete is looked as them. It's just an investors. You can flip and make a ton of money here in St. Pete right now off of just houses, but those houses aren't going to locals. They're not going to families that are moving here. They're having to look to move north, central Florida, not anywhere by the beaches or anything by Tampa to find anything affordable.
Mm-hmm. So unaffordability is a big issue. What are there any other issues that St. Pete's dealing with right now?
I would say I don't think the crime is such an issue. I literally see police more than I have ever seen in any other city I've lived in. I've lived in Texas. I lived in up north in Indiana, and the presence of police is very well known around here. There's still a homeless problem, and I don't really know. I moved down here in '98 as a kid, and it seems like there was a problem, but now it's worse. They're trying to make them not seen, so they're trying to find places that like maybe, like a few years ago, they actually had a place to go. Now they don't have a place to go. They're literally sleeping behind buildings or on the road, benches, anywhere. And it's unfortunate. It's definitely there. It's not something that I think we should try to hide, but try to find a way to help. That's the big problem here is really the homeless. I don't think the crime is too bad, but there is a homeless problem for sure.
Yeah, I mean, both St. Pete and Tampa, you drive around downtown, you don't really see a lot of homeless people in plain view like you do out on the West Coast or in some other areas. Are they basically just like, hey, you can sleep where you want, but not in the touristy public area? Like, go over there because we have an image to uphold. Is that kind of like the vibe you're getting?
Yeah, I feel like that. I mean, I can drive down the road from where I live, and there's literally this shanty little town that they built, and they're sleeping right there on the sidewalk. But it's in like a town where probably a tourist wouldn't go to or something. Mm-hmm. It's on the back end of the south side of St. Pete, so they're just up there, they're living right there on the sidewalk. Have like a tent, have some chairs. But if you drive towards the beach area, I guarantee you will not see one homeless person around that area.
No, they just kick them out.
Yep, exactly.
Hey, we got tourists to impress. Move on.
Mm-hmm.
I think downtown is just a nice little downtown. It's not going to overwhelm you. It's not crowded. It's clean. I like downtown St. Pete.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love St. Pete downtown. Central Avenue is my favorite spot in St. Pete. That's where you would have a lot of your local businesses are up on Central. So great beer, great restaurants, trendy kind of spots and places around there. Downtown is getting more to cater the more 1%, I guess you can say, of the population. It's a little bit more fancier, and you're going to pay a little bit more. So Central Avenue is definitely like the trendy local like hot spot to go down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty cool down there. If a family was going to move to St. Pete and they wanted to get a nice neighborhood that wasn't overpriced, but a good neighborhood, where would you say, what part of town would a family consider moving to now that things are changing in St. Pete? Where's the good part of town?
I mean, I would say the north side has always been the better area, but I don't think there's really anything too affordable around here. It's like everything is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home that's like maybe 1,000 square feet is $300,000. So it's all gouged throughout the whole entire city. There's no real place you can go to try to find something affordable. But north is great. Anything like central St. Pete is great. South, there might be a couple areas, but if you go way south, there's nice neighborhoods again as well. So, but like I said, tons of police. There's police everywhere. Basically, they're always on patrol. Never do I not go a day without seeing multiple police cars around the area and giving a watch. Basically,
are they doing that as a preventive measure to kind of? Has St. Pete had a problem with crime, and so now they're enforcing it? Why are there so many police officers around St. Pete?
Well, I think I guess you could say there probably was an instance before where it was a little bit more crime, but I feel like with so many people that come in and out of St. Pete daily, you have to have that large police force to just monitor, because you don't know who these people are coming from different states. I think they control the local and the local crime very well. It's the out of state where you get people that are on party mode that it's kind of, you have to have that everywhere around the St. Pete. It's all one big party city, basically.
Mm-hmm. I hear, so I was up in Pasco County. I heard people complaining about all of the druggies and tweakers and homeless folks that were getting forced out of the St. Pete, Tampa area because they couldn't afford to live there. And they're all going up north up to Pasco County. Have you heard anything about that at all?
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, myself, I've looked at moving out to Central Florida just to find something that's more affordable for a family to buy a home. So I imagine people, and I have seen it. They are pushing out people from the part of the city that's not the nicest. They're building up these huge high rises. So they're forcing those people out to try to build all the more expensive, the nice, basically another downtown St. Pete around the whole entire St. Pete area. So they're building it up, making it unaffordable for people on purpose to drive them up. And yeah, everybody knows it. You have to move up north, Pasco County, Central Florida, even a little bit south to find anything affordable.
It's like that all over the state. I've talked to so many people already that are like, I'm over it. Florida put up the y'all come here flag, and now they're getting what they asked for, to the point that, locals are they're over it with all the new people that are moving in. I mean, it's always been a touristy place, and it's always been a transitional place and a place for second homes. But there's just so many people moving to your state for full-time, long-term, to make it their lifestyle now. And, they're pushing people out in places that they're not used to being at. It's becoming unaffordable for most folks. I don't know how people that have, the folks that are the blue collar folks and that service industry and the tourism folks, how they can afford to even live in St. Pete or Tampa anymore. Because they don't make a lot of money. I mean, if you're making $10-12 an hour, how do you afford to live there?
Exactly. Even, there is no middle class here. It's either you can't afford it or you can afford it. There's no middle. There's no getting by. Like, you're going to struggle 100%, just even trying to get by here. So yeah, it's frustrating, from somebody that loves St. Pete. I mean, this is the city that I graduated from, I grew up in. It's hard to know that I can't really live here. Like, it shouldn't be the case, but it is. It's like I don't see how you can have a family and try to be able to do everything you want to do and afford living here as well.
Are you gonna have to move?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing, I mean, I'm fine where we're at right now, but I would love to just have the ability to not feel like I'm being closed in, basically. So somewhere up north, a little bit more land. Ocala's nice. I hope people don't know Ocala. I hope they don't find it, and like, now that place becomes another St. Pete, because it is a beautiful city as well. It's a little hidden gem, I guess you can say, in Florida.
Okay, that's good to know. I was in the Villages for a day, which is right next to Ocala, and I was like, that is on another level of sprawl. I couldn't believe the stuff we saw up there. There's a video on that.
That place is crazy.
But yeah, it is crazy there. I have to say, I spent most of my time on St. Pete Beach when I was there for a couple of days. I really like it there. How would you describe St. Pete Beach?
I think it's not bad when there's not too many people there. I used to go to Sunset Beach all the time, which is it's right by St. Pete Beach. And that was back when nobody went to Sunset. And now you go there and it's just as bad as St. Pete Beach. So I don't think you can really find a spot that is kind of like intimate anymore over there. Everybody used to go to Clearwater. Now we got all the trickle down. So it's beautiful. The beach is beautiful. You can find a spot. It's just now you might be next to a bunch of people that might, take away your experience a little bit. But it's still, I still go. I still, take the kids and everything to the beach here and there.
What would be your top 2 favorite beaches in St. Pete and your top 2 least favorite beaches?
Honeymoon Island it's a little bit north of St. Pete Beach. That one is you have to pay to get into that one as well. That is a beautiful area. You could spend all day at Honeymoon Island. I would say that is definitely the top. For St. Pete, Sunset still. I just love Sunset. It's kind of back a little bit, so there is a lot of people that are flocking over that area, but it still feels separate from the St. Pete Beach area. Least favorite would probably be, as much as I love Fort DeSoto, I think that the beaches there, it's not the best kind of beach. If you really want like nice sand, beauty, like, around you and stuff, it's definitely it's not a fancy beach. I will say that. It's not a beach that it was like, oh wow, feel the powder of the sand. You're going to be walking on shells and stuff like that. So maybe not that one, but Fort DeSoto in general is It's just a fun place to be. You can spend all day there. You can do biking, barbecuing, all kinds of stuff there. So maybe not the beach, but maybe the whole day doing something else there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So Clearwater, I did spend a little bit of time in Clearwater coming through. Downtown Clearwater seemed very boring. The neighborhood seemed very basic. I did not go over to Clearwater Beach across and see that. Mm-hmm. I could see that it was like super fancy, but Clearwater proper was just so blah to me. Did I miss something?
I don't know. So I'll tell you the truth is that I have not been to Clearwater since like last year because it's such chaos there. I remember we were trying to go to I believe it's the pier like last year, and the line of cars that stretched back, it took us like 40 minutes to even like really even get close to the beach area. So I literally avoid Clearwater by like I'll drive around Clearwater. So we haven't gone there in a while. It's overpacked, and I think honestly, I've always thought that St. Pete was the better place to go. It was all hype, I guess, but they keep on. They're building things up there. They're bringing in a lot of attractions. There's a lot to do there. It's just I don't know about spending hours trying to wait to get to a beach or waiting on all kinds of people to even do anything around there.
Did I miss something by not going to Clearwater Beach? Is it this amazing experience?
It's a lot of sand, and it's like you feel like you're walking on baby powder. So that's nice, but a beach is a beach. I mean, honestly, if you go down to St. Pete Beach, you're seeing the exact same thing you would at Clearwater Beach. The sand might be a little different, and that's about it.
So you're a writer and director, Greasy Boy Films is your company. Mm-hmm. You've been producing movies in the St. Pete area, and you're working on one called The Inn.
Yeah, and that's it's a horror film that we're shooting in Dunedin, Florida, which I think is the real gem. If you're going up on the coast, Dunedin, Florida is beautiful. It's a beautiful community, but yeah, it's a horror film. It's a horror film that takes place at a hotel. I see tourists coming all the time, and I've traveled many hotels along the road to different film locations. It's always in the back of your mind. You're staying next to somebody you don't know, and I've stayed at some really bad hotels and had some bad experiences, some scary experiences. So that's what the film is about. It's basically a hotel, and there's some horror stuff that happens at it. It's going to be a fun film that we're shooting here locally.
Great. Yeah, I think that's great. You've got a beautiful state there to use as a backdrop for your films, and you've also got places in your state that would serve very well as horror films. I saw some places in Pasco County that don't need any lighting changes, that don't need any more props, that don't need any more actors. You could literally walk in there and it's a horror film right now.
Oh, yes. Florida is amazing you can go one place and have beauty, and the next place you go to, it is, you're right out of a scene of a horror film. And there's films shooting here all the time. Lifetime Films. It's getting busy over here for films.
No. Are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. You can get my email in the description to find out how I can help you find your perfect relocation. And I can also help you find your new house too. Email me and I'll work with you on not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home too. That's right. I know awesome, reliable agents all over the country, and I'd love to connect you to somebody who can help you search for that perfect home. Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great. You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also click one of these videos or playlists for more. You can also now buy my songs on iTunes and other formats. Click the link in the description. Thanks for watching. And remember, while we all might have different views, we should all be nice to each other and try to make the U.S. a better place in a positive way.
This is Sage, Nick's manager. This has been a Corner House Entertainment production.